For this video, I'm coming to you from a classroom at my college. Most, if not all, of the classrooms on my college are equipped with a instructor's or presenter's podium at the front of the classroom with a computer and projection equipment for the screens for the students. But the computers on my campus are set up to default settings that are not MLA format. I want to make this video for you so you can save a lot of time and worry at the beginning before you start typing and not have to worry about MLA format on your screen. Okay? I'm going to take you into my document. This is a Word document. For my college, all students have access to Microsoft Word. There. When you first open up your Word document, you'll have a blank document. At the top middle of your screen, it'll say Document 1, Word. And then there's the banner of tools across the top. The first thing I would like you to do is come up here to the top row. There, you open up on Home. Then there's the Insert tab, the Design tab, and the Layout tab. I'd like you to click on the Layout tab, and that will open up a new banner. All the way over on the left, for this version of Word, that is the icon for margins. You want to click that, and you want to make sure that your document is set at what Microsoft Word calls normal. That's MLA margins. 1-inch margin on all sides. Click that and you're set. Then I want you to come over here under Paragraph and open up that dialog box. For indents and spacing, you want to make sure that everything is set at double spacing throughout the document. That's required for MLA. And then to the left of the line spacing is spacing before and after each paragraph. Now in Microsoft Word, as in most software, word processing softwares, a paragraph is not what we think of as a paragraph. For the software, a paragraph is all the text until you hit the Enter key. And then it moves to the next line and starts a new paragraph. I'll repeat that in just a moment for your sake. But here in spacing, you want to make sure that there's 0 spacing before a paragraph and that 0 spacing after a paragraph. And then you want to set that. Okay? Now, I want you to go back to the home page and you're going to talk about your font. MLA format prefers Times New Roman 12 point. So I'm going to set that up for Times New Roman and 12 point font. When your professors are giving you a page limit or a word count, they are assuming Times New Roman font 12 point font size. That, with the double spacing on a regular piece of printed paper, is going to be about 250 to 300 words per page. So if a professor is assigning you an 8-page paper or a 10-page paper, you can quickly do some math and figure out how many words you're going to be doing that and how many pages you've got. But Times New Roman, 12-point font. The reason that MLA prefers the Times New Roman font is because it is a serif font. That means when we look at the letters, there are the little pieces of touchstone here and there that kind of flare out the letters. With Calibri and some of the others, they're square. They're sans serif. They don't have those serif marks. But Times New Roman does. And what that does is it makes it very easy on the eye to spot italicized material. With Calibri and some of the other Helveticas, it's hard to see the italics because there really is just a sort of a gentle lean to the left. And so that's hard to see. So Times New Roman is the font we want because that font allows your reader to see italics very easily. Okay, so I have set my margins 1 inch all the way over. I have set up my Times New Roman font at 12 point, and I'm on the first line at the top of the page, and I'm flush with the left-hand margin. Okay? We want to put in the student's name, your name for your professor. Now, in American literature, we have a great writer and speaker by the name of Samuel Clemens, who wrote under the pen name Mark Twain. So let's use him as an example. Hit the enter, you've already moved down to double space. This is where you're going to give the name of your professor. Again, down, and now you're going to give the name of the class. And below that, you're going to give the date of submission. Not the date you work on the document, the date you submit it. So let us say if the school year starts in mid-August, somewhere in September you're going to be turning in the paper. So let's say that this paper is due on the 11th of September 2024. That's far enough into the future. Now you're going to give the title of our paper. Okay? Now I'm going to move back up to that line, and I'm going to come up here to the paragraph alignment. I'm going to click, I want the title to be centered on the page. Now I'm getting ready to type my document. MLA formatting requires double spacing throughout the document without any extra space. So if you're just reading a page, you cannot tell where one paragraph ends easily with another one. So MLA format, APA format, Chicago Manual all say that the first line of each paragraph needs to be indented 1/2 inch. Now everything that we put on the top of our first page is not indented, but that's what we want to do. So we want to come up here to View, and we want to turn on the ruler. There we go. Now in the upper left margin, on the ruler on the left hand side, you'll see this sort of hourglass form. What you want to do is you want to take your pointer and pick that top piece and move it over to the 1/2 mark. Now as you type through your document, every time you start a new paragraph, it will automatically indent that first line. And then you can begin doing your paper. Now while we're here, I want to talk about one more piece to the MLA format, also APA formats.